Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Roundtable, where we talk about everything that affects human life, cultural relationships, and everything that borders on human living. And of course, you know how we do it. We have two very important guests in the studio this morning. I'd like to, of course, by my right, to have a very beautiful lady, Mrs. Patsy Ngolo. Mrs. Patsy, good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. So happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. And of course, I've got the head of our videography and editing department, Mr. Cordeli. Good morning, Mr. Cordeli, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, everybody. It's nice being here with you once again.
All right, let's get to the nitty-gritty of the matter. I mean, there's been a video making rounds on social media. Dr. Ken, he was of the opinion that men are polygamous in nature, and due to the fact that men are prone to prostate cancer, men should ejaculate at least 21 times a month. And in doing this, he's proposing that men should look outside of their marriage, outside of their families, in order to get that satisfaction. But before we get into the topic proper, let's watch this video and let's hear what Dr. Ken has to say.
I believe as a medical practitioner that men are biologically wired to be polygamists. If I'm having erectile dysfunction, if you give me an alternate woman, a woman who is new to me, and our pheromones click, my ED will disappear temporarily.
Really?
Absolutely. And that's why men come to the clinic now and say, Doc, when I'm with my wife, this thing doesn't work. But when I go to my side chick, it wakes up. I just laugh because that's a scientifically proven fact. Men with 2-3 wives tend to live an average of 7.5 years longer than men with one man, one woman. One man, one woman, that man's sexual activity is going to decrease after the age of 50. When a man is not happy in the bedroom, his productivity is affected. When that productivity is affected, the impact on the economy dwindles. So even the government will not get adequate taxes. You're talking about these great entrepreneurs. If they're not happy at home, they may spend more time at work, that their productivity goes down, and their unit at home is affected because they know they're not going to get any performance there. Men that are not getting enough erection, enough ejaculation a month will develop enlarged prostate. When they develop enlarged prostate, that's when bad things happen, and it affects the quality of their life. In the past 1 year, Dr. Ken, the Secretary of Defense in the US has gone for prostate surgery. Martin Luther King's son died of prostate problem. We're losing quality men. And this day and age, we should not be.
It shouldn't be.
Because prostate cancer is one of the slowest growing. And one of the ways we can reverse it is sexual activity. And the big point should not just be one man, one woman, because it has never been us. That's un-African. That was started for economic reasons in the European American sphere. We are African. My grandparents, Dr. Ken, had 21 wives. In the defense of women, what I say is what the left hand does, don't let the right hand know. You are not going to bring your other woman to your marital home. You want to have your other woman on a contract. You call her, she doesn't call you. She doesn't disrespect your home. So your woman is still your anchor. But you know why you are doing it, and your woman is on your side. She realizes that you must get your 21 times. And if for some reason she's not able to get it for you, hey, she knows where you are.
Yes.
What the left hand does, let the right hand not know. I'll come to that shortly. Let me start with you, Mrs. Patsy. You heard Dr. Ken saying men are polygamous in nature. You know, let's start from that first before we go into the other points he brought up. So, men are polygamous in nature. Do you think that is true?
It is not true. I disagree to agree with that.
You disagree to agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my reason goes this way. First, I will tell you that if you have the fear of God in you, if you are born again, if you know the God yourself, that God can do undo, God can keep. God can keep. Okay, are you trying to tell me that those people, those men that used to stop to 100 and something years above, so they do flit around? Is that what people are telling me? So when you have God by you, when you are born again, you will live long. Forget about that post-race and so-called. That's what I
didn't want to attack this. We didn't want to attack this topic from the religious point of view. But you are starting this program off from a religious point of view. But before I come back to what you said, let me hear from Mr. Corden. It's like already you have this party. You think that men are polygamous?
I think this is kind of funny. But I have to say something here. When God made man, everything a man needed to survive, to thrive, is already deposited in him now. So no amount of religion can make our minds. It doesn't have anything to do with your religious inclination. I agree with what the doctor said, men wired polygamously. Yes, not here. You are using that word, polygamous. Men are wired to, interact with different females simultaneously in their lifetime. They are wired that their emotions, the way they do things, their emotional attachment to relationships will show you a man is capable of loving multiple women emotionally and materially. Once he has the material capability, yes, he can. Emotionally, he can also diversify. He is built that way. He's wired that way. He is wired to compartmentalize his emotions.
By compartmentalize, what do you mean?
A man is wired to deal with Nkechi, deal with Njideka, deal with Amaka, deal with Precious. He can pick their calls in 30 minutes.
And even deal with Bobrisky.
I don't know. I don't know about that. But he can talk to like 5, 6, 7 females, address them, tell them what they want to hear, satisfy their emotions at that point in time, based on what they want to hear, and still go on, move on with his business as if nothing happened. That is the way they are wired. That is the way they compartmentalize their emotions.
And this doesn't change however they feel towards their spouse.
I don't think so, unless the man, like I don't know, that is when a man has to be on his best behavior, especially when you are dealing with your family. Family is family. Family comes first. You should know that. I am not an advocate of the cheating men, so that it doesn't seem as if I come out soon. But I am just saying it as it is.
Yeah.
You can decide to discipline yourself. Yes, I know I have the capability of doing this. I know that I have this urge. But that one is quite different. But what we are saying here is, are men polygamous in nature? Of course, men polygamous in nature. No matter what you call yourself, you can call yourself a bishop, you can call yourself a pastor, you can call yourself an imam. Of course, you should know. You can lie to yourself all you want, but that's even if you have the best of religion, the best of the spirit in you, there are still that moments of weakness that comes. It's only your discipline that can help put you in check. But those moments there, of course, they're there. We are polygamous in nature.
Quickly, Mrs. Patsy, you heard him. You heard what he said.
Clearly.
He has just told us that, man, no matter how we try to put it, no matter how anyone tries to put it, that polygamous nature is inherent in men. And you're saying it's not so.
It's not so, it's not possible.
It's not possible. And
Yeah,
the only argument you brought forward is that if you have the fear of God, now let's put the fear of God out
Aside
for now.
Okay.
Let me hear from you now. What do you think?
Okay. if you say we should put God aside, I will now bring up another issue. See, that thing you talked about as in saying you go outside, you have to have sex, you go to say, do you know that thing, it's also applicable to women? So do you know that when you stay with your woman, you are not giving her whatever she wants, she's not happy at home, or do you know that that woman will die untimely? Doesn't matter whether you die because of you're not releasing, you are not doing this, no, all of die and die. So what I'm trying to say is this: if you need that maybe you said you will go to another woman, your manhood will stand. When you come to your wife, it will not stand. No, when you put your wife in order, when you make your wife to look good, in all angle, when you see your wife, every moment you see her, you're happy. That's break will stand.
Okay. I definitely do not agree with you. Do you know?
You have to.
Most beautiful girl in the world, most music divas you see that are married, their men still cheat on them, no matter how beautiful they are.
I'll still go.
So it is not a thing, though beauty sometimes and grooming helps, but it helps to an extent. As you are grooming, are you the most groomed, are you the most beautiful person in the world? No woman has it all, and no man has it all.
Yeah, definitely.
That is one thing that drives it. It's a thing of the mind.
Yeah.
It is a thing of nature. No matter how you pretend, how you want to do it, come on, let me tell you something. When men are going through a lot, men, especially married men, they are going through a lot, emotionally, psychologically, financially, and in every other socially, they are going through a lot. Because they are wired to not complain, to not wail, to not cry. Some things happen to them and they like swallow it and move on. But does it hurt? Actually, it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts bad. Sometimes you come back, your spouse will be like, you're displaying and you notice that she wants some one thing. And you check yourself, come on, you are not, that thing is not, it is not coming up. You don't feel it like you used to before. You know, probably when you people married, you are doing it all over the place, from the bathroom to the bedroom to the kitchen to the wherever in the house and out of the house. Then it was all good. Now the law of diminishing return comes in. Nature comes in to like when you drink a cup of water when you're thirsty. You drink 1, drink 2, drink 3, drink 4, drink 5. You know, the thirst reduces.
Yeah.
Definitely reduces. And then, the way men are wired psychologically, you may see, you're walking on the road, you see a beautiful woman, and you feel attracted to her. You feel that urge to communicate. And you know, men are driven by what they see.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing with you. I'm neutral.
That is what drives a man, what they see. You know, so once a man notices a woman and probably wants to interact with her, most of the time they have that attraction, physical attraction.
Yeah.
In mind. That is the one driving force.
Just quickly before I go back, there was something Dr. Ken mentioned. He said a man could love, when he was talking about the prostate cancer, he said a man could be having erectile dysfunction and then his manhood doesn't get erect, and then someone new comes, a new woman comes into the picture, that manhood will get erect. Let me bring this to your situation. Say, for example, we are not saying this is you, but say, for example, you are incapacitated to make your husband, to make him, and would you allow him to go out?
Okay, thank you for that wonderful question.
Yeah.
So as we talk about something new just now, let me just tell you what we do in that aspect. If the man who doesn't stand, try something else. Please make something new.
I don't understand.
Making something new, change position, do something new, fresh something. Do it. The thing. Do something new. The thing eventually stands.
What new thing?
Do new styles. Change your styles.
First,
Yes.
this is not a biology class. I don't want to. But he needs to get erect first, right? Before any style.
The attraction and the urge. Let me tell you something. The thing starts with urge.
Yes.
You may have urge for woman A and not have for woman B. That is why sometimes I see women that like they shout and rant and say, what does she have that I don't have? I have everything. What is she looking for outside?
I mean, they're
Yes.
younger ladies every day.
And even younger than the woman is even like running after. You see things like that. That should tell you one thing. That should tell you one thing. It's all about the way men are wired. Naturally. And when you bear it in mind, that is when you see a lot of people, they start things like role play. Sexual role play. That is what I think that was what you are driving at. Role play. Some women know that men are wired that way. And they know that there are men that are especially, they have roving eyes normally. Even if they are not wired that way, their eyes are roving all over. So they role play to retain their man's attention. Sometimes men, they are I don't know how to describe it. They have low attention span when it comes to sex. A man can chase a woman for 6 months and have sex and succeed in having sexual relationship with her for 1 day, and the whole thing will fizzle out, die.
So this is
They are driven by the excitement of the chase. Most of the time. It is not really what turns them on is sometimes the chase. The how will I describe it? The whole how will I even describe it?
the thrill of chasing.
The thrill of the chase, and then sometimes it may not really be the sex. For some people, it is sex. And for a man to stick to one woman, it is not an easy thing. It is not easy. That law of diminishing return comes in there. That is why you hear some men say they got married for probably 10 years, 20 years. They start, for some it starts earlier than normal. You see a man tell you that my wife looks as if she's my sister. I don't know if you've heard that comment. Like, you be with a woman for some time, you relate with her on a friendly basis. Maybe you started from
People start looking alike.
Even if you don't start, you start seeing her as if she is your sister, somebody that she hardly turns you on sexually again. It is a see-finish process. You have seen everything, you have done everything. What next is there for you to do? The excitement dies down. The children comes in, and probably sometimes that is why children are what holds most marriages together. Unfortunately, it is so. Children. If you remove children from the equation, most marriages will collapse. If you remove children, what sex holds in a marriage is too minuscule. Like for married couples that are above 10 years in their matrimony. Most of the time, what holds them together is children, one, things they share, probably properties, material things. If you remove these two things, and then pride, why will the marriage just collapse and I'm single? what will people say? What will the church say? What will the community say? What will the family say? Is what is holding most marriages. If you remove all these things from the equation, if you use sex to hold marriage, it will just crumble. How long will a marriage based on sex?
Okay. You know, Dr. Ken talked about we've heard men are polygamous in nature. Over to you again. Would you have a problem? Okay, since you have a problem with your husband cheating, would you have a problem if your husband proposes marrying a second wife in order to meet up with his sexual needs? His sexual needs and all that?
Yes, I'll have it.
You have a problem?
Yes.
Let's say most of the time you're incapacitated or you don't have that energy or time, sort of, and he's proposing, hey, let me get someone, to fill up so that I don't bother you all the time. You wouldn't understand that.
No, I don't have that in a marriage. What is that marriage? What did they call marriage for the first time? You people come to you say you love each other. You love each other. You don't need to do that. You don't need to go elsewhere or go and marry another one because of no. That is why I mentioned God here. That's why I mentioned God. And the way you keep your home in order, when there is happiness, when everything is there, you also mentioned chance. All those, you have to create all these things so that you maintain your home and your wife.
And say you don't have all these things, you cannot create all these things. Would you also have a problem if he's cheating, but you don't find out?
I don't need to. If I have a very big problem. Why? What?
Okay, he's keeping this thing outside. He respects you, respects the family. The only thing is that he doesn't allow the side chick to disrespect his family.
Yeah. He said, if I find out, will I be? I will not be happy. As far as I disagree with all the things you are saying. Why? Because I have to think about my life first. So why I'm saying that it's not advisable for your husband to cheat or you have side chick. He says you consider your life first. Maybe when you feel like there's no problem, you should go outside and say, what of if in their sense that's a pregnant woman? That problem have come into the family. So for that reason, you're just supposed to allow that to happen.
Yes, I think I totally disagree with you because if you're telling us why men should not cheat, why men should not marry a second, third, or fourth, or fifth wife, forgetting the fact that naturally it is not sustainable for a man to stick to one woman. Check it out, like the doctor rightly mentioned, so many men are dying of prostate cancer all over. Like there was this former managing director of GT Bank. He died some years back from prostate. He has all the money in the world. But what killed him? Prostate. And it now brings me to this situation of, but there are some men that when they get married, after some years in their marriage, sexual relationship with the wife will die. For some, not for everybody, for some, it will die totally. That is why you see some men, 2, 3 years, 4 years, they've not had sexual relationship with their wives. And when they do, once in a blue moon, it doesn't really mean anything to them. They'll be giving the woman all the money they needed. But that intimacy is dead. The urge, probably most of the time, the urge dies. The death of the urge starts with the man, because the way he is wired naturally, he has seen it all. That sea finish has entered. The urge is no longer there. And for most men that are disciplined, that don't want to cheat, they are religiously inclined, they put the whole of their attention in their business, in their churches, in their family, their children. Their emotions go towards that direction. They do not want to have a side chick. But you see them, for years they don't have sex. For years they don't release, nothing.
Do you think it's possible to be attracted sexually to your spouse for a very, very long time? Yes. Say 20, 25 years.
Yes, it is possible.
In this situation, would a man still cheat?
Yes,
Why?
possibly.
You have an attractive wife outside.
Yes, possibly. Let me tell you one thing. Somebody told me one thing some time ago. He said that his sexual relationship with his wife improved from the day he stepped out to have a side chick. You see the psychology there. You see, men are not. You see, when people say that men are polygamous in nature, it is not a straightforward thing. There are so many things attached. There are so many emotions attached. It is not a uniform thing. Most people don't behave the same way. What drives A is not what drives B. But it is still another study. I think some people have studied it. They say that once their man steps out of the house, maybe having sexual relations with some other people, their own sexual relationship with the wife starts improving. Why? Because it's an exercise. You are with this particular female, and along the line, your libido dies. Naturally. It just dies. You start getting low. Sometimes you do it every day. Sometimes it reduces to 2-3 times a week. Sometimes in a week you don't do it at all. You notice that decline. Now, once that decline starts setting in, it will set in to an extent that it may die completely. You see a man, that is why the doctor said, with my wife, this thing doesn't work. With someone else, it starts working. And sometimes, once you test it with another person, it starts working. You now want to test it again with your wife. That is that. Yes, it's a kickstart. There are some funny things I may tell you now. You'll be like,
it's a medical solution.
No, this one is not medical solution. This one is something that happens on the street every day.
Oh my God.
No, for sometimes you may dispute it. I'm a man, I am married, but it happens. That decision to
Scary boy,
that decision to stick with that decision to stick with your wife and be disciplined is a personal decision. Religion may drag you to be faithful to your wife, but the temptations are there.
Yeah, definitely.
Once you step out and get tempted and you do it, the guilt will set in. But the best decision you can make is that particular decision you decide for yourself that I want to stick with my wife. It is not God that made you to stick, or your pastor, but you personally decided to stick with your wife. That is when you start looking for solutions that you talked about before. Solutions that will bring improvement to your sexual relationship. Aside that, probably you don't have any problem with cheating. Most of the time, cheating helps improve sexual relationship. Indirectly.
He said cheating helps improve.
Yes, for somebody that cannot marry the second, third wife.
With your wife.
Okay.
I mean, and you've heard all the arguments he's brought up.
Yes.
What do you have?
So what I'm saying is this: please, in a marriage, in a relationship, if you know that thing that will make you to be happy, if you know that thing that you will take that will make you not to go outside.
That you take.
Yeah, to take, yes. Because I know some people, there's something, maybe you take something or you go and do something else that will make you to be happy. When you do that, you make happy, please, and your manhood will stand so that you keep your marriage going. Forget about going out, looking for another side, your manhood will stand. It can stand when your house is conducive, you are keeping your wife exactly how she's supposed to look. Let her look good.
Are you arguing with the doctor? It's scientifically proven.
Exactly, as you can see, whatever. Make your wife to look good so that you will have urge when you see her. It will help you. And I didn't believe, as far as I will still maintain it, once you have the fear of God in you, God will keep you. You can do that and you succeed. And your manhood will stand. It's not must you have a side chick.
It's unfortunate that fear of God does not stop an erection. You see what?
That is what will help you.
Fear of God does not stop an erection. That is one thing. You fear God all you want, but it doesn't stop your physical body from doing their natural things that God Himself created it to do. That is why I still maintain that this thing is not a straightforward thing. It doesn't work on a straight line. For me, because I'm a man, you hardly expect the woman to understand these things. I don't expect her to agree and understand and follow this particular
Fine, I'll use myself as an example.
It is not possible. I know that there are men that have tried it. At the end of the day, they will be happy. Some find happiness, some don't. Our forefathers, I will say that they lived a more fulfilled life because of the way they structured their family. They lived a more fulfilled life, especially the men folk. It was a man's world then. They lived a more fulfilling life because you have, even some of them that had up to 10, 20 wives, they still have concubines.
Because
you have 20 wives.
Yes, and still have
20 concubines doing.
Because they lacked God in their life.
What drives men? You people fail to understand that what drives a man is what he sees. That is why a man may be sexually saturated in the morning, and in the afternoon, you will see something again that will drive, turn his oil again, and then the chase continues. It's a continuous thing. The only thing that stops it is discipline and fear of God, like you mentioned. That is the only thing that stops the spirit of the chase from coming in. Because will the chase be there? Yes. I've seen respectable women of God and respectable people in the society. They still go out of their way to cheat and hide it and lie to themselves that they don't do it, but actually they do. So our forefathers tried to mitigate against all those sentiments. Why should I lie? Because I have so many things that will strike me dead when I lie. But now it's easier for people to look you in the eye, stand in front of the altar and lie, because nothing strikes them. But then you hardly, as there are stages you could get to, you find yourself not being able to lie again, because when you lie, the consequences is there.
So it's okay. We've heard from the two positions. Mrs. Passy, just before we wrap up, do you have anything to say?
Yes, I have things to say. What I want to tell everybody is this. Please maintain your home, be happy, keep on doing that and that God asks you to do. As you can see, once you make your home happy, once you make your wife look exactly the way you saw him before you both come together, once your wife is looking like that, there is no way you will look outside, because it's not must you will have side chick before you can live long.
The way you said it. All right. Mr. Kondo, any final words?
Yes, my advice to women, like you said, maintain that initial stage you came with to the marriage. With your looks, maintain it. Perhaps it may help prolong your husband's sexual attention towards you. Perhaps. Maybe if he will stay in the house for 2 years before cheating, because you are maintaining that it's for 5 years. But will he cheat? It's only between him and God.
All right, thank you very much.
But men, there are disciplined men who don't cheat.
Yeah.
I am one of them. I have that discipline. So don't get me wrong.
Of course. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an interesting conversation in the studio. We've been talking about polygamy, human relationships, relationship between a man and his wife, and of course you heard the different opinions of our guests today. And from this, we are not in any way supporting cheating, but just like Dr. Ken has said, it is necessary this program is also for educational purposes. It is necessary for men to ejaculate at least 21 times a month in order to reduce the risk of prostate cancer.
Very important.
It is important.
That's with your partner.
And with your partner, of course. We are not saying we should go with your partner.
Without your partner.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The risk of prostate cancer has been on the rise every day, and that is why Dr. Ken is saying to take these necessary precautions. You've heard the positions of our guests, and tell us what you think. You've heard the conversation. Tell us what you think in the comment section. Do you agree with the positions of our guests, and what is your opinion on cheating, on polygamy? And do you think that men are naturally wired to be polygamous in nature, or do you think it's just some kind of tale being told in order to justify men cheating? I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, my name is Emmanuel, and thank you for joining us. And I've been doing this with Mr. Cordeley and Mrs. Patsy Joko. Mrs. Patsy. God. That's very interesting. All right, until next time, we'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.